Podcasting for the digital video professional. Digital video professional. This is the DV Show. The DV Show.
All right, welcome to this special edition of the DV Show, where we are speaking about making money with real estate videos. And on the other phone with me here, or on the internet chat or video, whatever you want to call it, is Fred Light from NashuaVideoTours.com. And he's here to tell us about how he makes money with real estate videos. So you're pretty successful with this, aren't you, Fred?
Yeah, so far so good.
So far so good. Now,
so far so good.
Do you make a living off this? Do you make a reasonable income?
I'm making a reasonable supplementary income.
Okay.
This isn't my main line of work, but it's taking over my main line of work.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Now, you were on 60 Minutes.
No.
Yeah,
CBS News.
Oh, CBS News. I'm sorry. Okay. What's the difference anyway, right? 60 Minutes, CBS News. What's the difference?
I was 2 minutes.
You were 2 minutes on there, and they highlighted real estate video in the market. What was their, we'll probably show a video of that coming up, but what was their kind of highlight of the whole video? This is something for videographers, or what were they highlighting?
It was essentially a story on. I mean, obviously everybody knows the real estate market's kind of in the dumpster here. So it was highlighting innovative marketing techniques to kind of set your property apart and get an edge in a slow real estate market.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
The price of homes is heading in the other direction, down. It's the law of supply and demand. Too many homes, nearly 4.5 million on the market right now, and too few buyers. Now, as Anthony Mason reports tonight, some sellers are getting themselves professional help.
When the Albert family put their Massachusetts home up for sale, they were looking for an extra edge in a bad market. So they called in Fred Light, who for a couple $100 will make a movie of your house for the internet.
This amazing kitchen features everything for the gourmet cook.
In this housing slump, Light has seen his business soar.
You have a lot of competition, so you've got to be able to catch people's eye quickly and with something that's a little different.
The latest housing numbers show not only are sales of existing homes down 19% from a year ago, but the median price is also plummeting from $229,000 in June to $211,000 last month.
It's been very hard to sort of calibrate how bad it was going to get, and clearly it has got worse than most of us expected it to.
And the pain continues to spread from borrowers who've lost their homes to the banks. Countrywide, the nation's largest mortgage lender, today reported a $1.2 billion loss for the past quarter. Bank of America announced 3,000 layoffs this week. And Merrill Lynch, the nation's biggest brokerage, disclosed almost $8 billion in mortgage-related losses.
The Merrill loss is probably one of the largest in Wall Street history, without a doubt.
So many expect the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates again when it meets next week to try to keep the housing troubles from tipping the entire economy into a recession.
Center island in the kitchen, granite counters.
But as the slump deepens, sellers will have to get creative.
It's like everything else. You have to stand out.
Because no one's sure just how this movie is going to end.
Welcome home.
Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
Now,
so they said that you needed to call in a professional. It almost made it sound like call in the doctor to fix your real estate. Well, it was pretty funny, actually.
And you're the doctor. I mean, you've been doing this for a number of years. I've been to a couple of websites, and you're top on the list, including Google, for videographers doing real estate video. And I'd say you're pretty successful. So we're going to eat into your mind. We're going to get into your head and find out what makes you successful so other people can do the same thing. All right, so let's get into, basically this video would be for real estate agents, but mostly for videographers. So let's get into the basics here. Why would someone want to produce, or why would a real estate agent want a video of a home? And what is this all about? What are the advantages of this?
Well, I mean, first of all, there's lots of advantages. One is there are a record, right now anyway, a record number of properties on the market in any given area, pretty much. Gas is at a record high. For the buyers that are out there that are looking for property, there's so much to look at. People don't want to waste their time with something that isn't exactly what they're really looking for. I mean, they don't want to be driving, 20 miles away to look at a house and walk in the front door and go, oh, this isn't really what I want. And face it, most people can tell even before they get inside the house, but as soon as the front door opens, they know if this is something they want to pursue or not. So it's a way to kind of whittle down your short list, essentially. It's not going to take the place of going in person, obviously, to visit a home, but it's a way to kind of whittle down your list of the properties that you really want to see. So that's a big benefit to buyers. For realtors, a big benefit is there are a gazillion realtors even today. Everybody in there, I think there are more realtors than there are houses for sale. If you look at them, they all have the same websites. They all have the same business card. They all have the same spiel. They all sell the same product. I don't know how they compete with each other, to be honest with you. So one of the things for a realtor that is becoming more and more difficult is how do I set myself apart from my competition? When I go on a listing appointment, how am I going to look better, different? How am I going to do something different that's going to pique the interest of the seller? And this right now is one thing that will blow people away. Customers totally understand video. It really appeals to the one thing that you need to appeal to, which is their ego. I mean, you're basically taking their home and you're making a little movie about it. It doesn't get much better than that. They love it. Nobody else basically walks in with that proposal. They understand it, and it's the best listing tool going right now. I mean, you can get every listing pretty much that you go out on if you present this the right way.
So this unique way of presenting a home for sale is really the advantage right now.
I think so. I think that it's an advantage to sellers because it's not inconveniencing them. When their house is on the market for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 months, and every time some looky-loo wants to go look at the house, they got to clean it up and get rid of the dogs and get rid of the kids, and then somebody walks in and goes, this isn't really what I'm looking for. I mean, it's a big waste of time for sellers over an extended period of time now. This is a way of kind of getting rid of all that. The neighbors want to see your house, go look at it on the internet, leave me alone, So it's a big benefit for sellers in the sense that when they do get someone that comes to the house, they're serious because essentially they've been in the house already. For the realtor, it's a great listing tool. It's a great way to set themselves apart from all of their competition. And for the buyer, it's a great way to save time.
Poised overlooking the breakwater of the Kennebunk River and the crashing surf of the Atlantic, this 3,700 square foot custom home is built to the highest specifications and is immaculate in its presentation, both inside and out.
Now, newspaper advertising, it has a big advantage over newspaper advertising, obviously, because it's up 24/7. It's not print. You're actually seeing video with pictures, video with audio and some music. As far as Google pricing, placing your ad on Google is very expensive. Television advertising is very expensive. Some people don't really do that. And the cost of branding the home is really, expensive compared to this. So putting video up on the internet, real estate video, producing it is really less than most real estate agents think.
It is. But I'll tell you what the biggest problem here, and I'm not 100% sure what the answer to this is. Your main customer, which is the realtor, and this is painting with a broad brush, but generally speaking, they don't get video. They don't understand the benefits. They don't really understand, even if you say I do video, they don't understand what that is, and they don't want to spend the money.
Now, how do you get past this barrier? How do you get past this?
Well, it's not that easy. I think that's the biggest stumbling block right now. I mean, if you understand the real estate market, if you go to list a house as a realtor, you are basically fronting all of the marketing costs with the assumption that at some point you're going to sell the house and make a commission. Mm-hmm. And then your costs are recouped and it's no big deal. But in this market, there's no guarantee that the house is ever going to be sold. It may be withdrawn from the market because of lack of interest or whatever. So realtors tend to not want to put any more money into it than they have to, because they're not 100% sure they're going to get anything out of it at any point. So, So you've got that problem. You've got another problem where what a lot of companies right now are marketing are these basically they're online slideshows. And effectively, they're taking the same pictures that are on the MLS already, and you can take your own pictures, you upload them to this website, and for $100 a year, you can make a little slideshow of 5 slides that you took that zoom in and out like a little Ken Burns effect, and you put some cheesy music behind it, and that's a video. And that's what they're marketing it as, is a video. And so when you approach a realtor, many times they say, oh, I already do video. And I'm like, no, you don't. Oh, yes, I do video. And then they show me what it is, and it's a slideshow.
Yeah.
So you can't even just go and say, this is video, this is something different, because you really have to show them a sample before they get it. Customers get it. And that's where, I think that's where the market is it's going to be customer driven. And I'm already seeing it in my area. I see customers that they call me and they say, I want to list my house with someone who's going to do this video. Who does that? Or they call one of my customers in another state and they say, I saw your videos. I have $1 million house. I want to list it. Will you list it? And they're like, I'm not even licensed in your state. So the customer's looking for someone who's going to do this. They understand it, and that's what's, I think, driving it. If you get some realtors that have been in the business for a while and have been in around during a down market, they understand that a big part of their job is marketing. Anybody that's been in the business the last 6 or 8 years, their concept of marketing is plugging a sign in the front yard, maybe, and giving a listing to the secretary to enter it in the MLS, and tomorrow there's 12 offers.
Right.
That's all they know, because that's what it's been like for, in most parts of the country for the last 6 or 8 years. The concept of doing anything more than that is foreign to them. So it's difficult. It's about exposure, and I think that's the key, is you have to get these things out where the right people will see it. Then they get it.
Now, with your experience in all the homes that you've videotaped, have you found an increase in sales because of your video?
What I find is a lot of people say that increase in the real estate sales, you mean?
Yes.
I find a lot of people that do it, they do it repeatedly. They'll do most of their listings. I have some customers, they do all of their listings. And they can tell stories, over and over of people that, one lady I know, that there was a counter on one of the videos, and it showed that 300 people had viewed the video. And she told the broker, she said, half of those were us. We just went home, we watched it over and over and over again until we fell in love with the house,
Wow.
I've had people that, they sold a house with the video, and then that person went and bought another house, and they wanted another video of that house. And, so I hear stories like that. I had one of my customers 2 years ago, and this was a perfect example of where this turns into big cash. He had a 2-family house in New Hampshire. We did a video on it. A guy that lived in San Francisco but moved to France, heard about the tax advantages of buying in New Hampshire, wanted to invest in multifamily housing here. He ended up seeing the video from Paris, flew over the next day, and bought this 3-family house.
Wow.
And now he's turning it into 3 condos, and he's selling those off, all with the same broker. So not only did the broker sell his own listing, which means a double commission, then they're converting it to 3 condos, and he's going to be selling those and getting those listings, all off of the video.
Awesome. Now, would you say video, as far as producing it for realtors and as far as people who are viewing it, would you say that this is more of an upscale type of medium to deliver the information about the sale of a home? Or would you say that your regular average homeowner is looking at videos? I mean, what does the market look like? I mean, who are the people that are viewing these?
Anybody that can afford to buy a house. I mean, I just did a little cracker box house yesterday that, I could hardly fit inside the house myself. It was a 1-bedroom house, ranch, and then I do multi-million-dollar houses on the ocean front. So it's more about the vision of the realtor, because I think people are people. If you have a computer and you have broadband and you're looking to buy a house, you want to see what the house is. I don't think it has to do with economics at all. But a lot of people say, well, video is just for, they look at being able to justify the expense only on a high-end home. And I don't think that's really true. Matter of fact, I do probably more middle range than high-end.
Okay. Now, as far as getting started here, as far as equipment goes, what was your startup fee? Are there any entry fees, equipment fees? What are we talking about here as far as price as a videographer?
Well, you mean as far as equipment goes?
Yes.
For me?
Yes.
I had nothing. I've never held a video camera in my life till I started to do this. So I had to buy a camera and a tripod. If you don't have a tripod, you're going to make a lot of people sick. And I mean, I think that's probably at the very minimum what you have to have. And you have to have a camera that has good low light capability. And I stumbled once with a camera that really didn't. So that's really important, because you don't have the luxury of hauling lighting equipment around. You don't want to be hauling lighting equipment around. So you have to really depend on natural light and the lights in the house. Otherwise, you're into a big production. And again, the big key here is you've got to keep the price down. If you don't keep the price within the range of what a realtor is willing to spend, and that's going to vary really based on the location in the country that you're in. You know, if the average price of a house is $100,000, you're not going to be able to charge $500 for a video. You're not going to get any takers. I'm in the Northeast. The average price is a little bit higher out here. So, you know, I think that the price that people are willing to spend is going to be a little bit more. But it's really a price. There's really a price point that you have to be at, or you're going to be looking at a very small number of people that are going to take you up on that. So you don't want to be investing a lot of money, but at the same time, you know, you've got to present a good product. You're trying to sell a $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 million house. You can't make it look like a slasher movie.
Now, what kind of camera do you have now?
Well, the first one I bought was just a little Sony camcorder. I think I paid $400 or $500 for it, and that didn't work. Really just didn't. Not in the low light. So I bought, and it's still a consumer camcorder, I bought a Sony HC3 high def camcorder, which seems to work really well in low light. And it's very crisp. You know, you got to compress the hell out of these things to get them on the web. So, you know, once you compress everything out of it, compress all the quality out of it, it's still, I think, really good quality for web video.
Now, some of your videos I saw something like a Steadicam. So, do you have the Merlin Steadicam, or?
I use the Merlin. Yeah.
You use the Merlin. That's a good device for the price.
It's a great device. The one little key thing that they don't mention is the learning curve is huge. I mean, I'm thinking, oh, this is great. I'm going to spend all this money and buy this little thing and stick it on my camera, and I'm going to have these beautiful, smooth. It doesn't work like that. It took a while. I still think I'm learning how to use it. But.
I mean, it makes your videos look unique, which is the point of making these in the first place. You get to roam through the house, walk up the stairs, and you don't see, you know, like you mentioned, a slasher movie. So it makes it look good.
A lot of the people that are doing these videos now, I see, essentially what they do is they take a tripod, they stick it in the middle of the room, and pan around in a circle, which is, you know, I guess that's better than still pictures and these what I call funhouse tours, the 360-degree virtual tour. But it still doesn't give much more information, like how do the rooms relate to one another, you know, how do you get to the living room from the dining room and that type of thing. And that's why I think the walkthrough, if you're going to be competitive, and I'm guessing down the road you're going to have to be competitive, because I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one in this business, I think you have to step it up to doing that walkthrough, because then you're going to separate yourself, I think, from the wedding videographer that's out there just twirling around on a tripod, because that's very average. Anybody can do that.
Right. So you want to be unique, and like yourself, you want to be at the top and above everybody else to stick out. Now, you said compression. Now, what other tools do you need as far as software goes? Editing software, of course. What do you use? And encoding software, what do you use?
I've been using, and again, I don't know much about this, so I've been using Sorensen Squeeze.
Okay.
Which is what I was told I should use. So, I mean, I'm not going from experience or anything. So that's what I've been using, and it's worked out very well. I have no complaints. Everything's been fine with that. So that's what I use. I use their default settings for the most part. And then I use Final Cut Express sometimes, but I usually use iMovie because, again, I looked at the price of this. I determined a price, and then I built a product around the price, because I think you got to keep within the price range. And at the same time, I need to make money. I'm not doing this for my health. So I need to get it down and dirty, keep the cost down, keep the time down, keep the editing time down. And iMovie, I find I can just knock that stuff off so fast. I mean, it's mostly compression time, and I can do other work while I'm doing that. So, you know, I can whip this stuff off pretty quickly. And then, you know, it makes sense from a business standpoint. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Hours, you know.
Exactly. Now, as far as distribution goes, you have your video produced, you have it compressed. Is there free software out there that you're using to put it up on the net? What happens next?
After I compress it, what I do, and there's several reasons why I do it. I upload it I host them on my server, because I I'm still not 100% sold on flash video.
Okay.
Getting there. I'm waiting for the new video that the H264 that they're coming out with this fall. I'm waiting to see what that looks like. But the problem with flash video is when you have a lot of motion, it doesn't work very well. It's kind of jerky a little bit. And if you're walking through a house, that's motion. If for talking head video, it's perfect. It's great. But if you're moving through a house, it's just a little jerky, and I'm a huge issue with quality, because I think if you're trying to sell $1 million house, it's got to look really good. It can't be half good, you know. So what I do just to cover my bases is I compress it to QuickTime, which I think is the best quality, and then to Windows Media Video for all the Windows people out there, which is not quite as good, and then to Flash, which is really a compatibility thing. And so everybody can see it, but hopefully they'll see the QuickTime one first. So I do host them on my server because they're QuickTime, and then I upload it to probably about 12 to 15 video sites like YouTube, Google Video, Yahoo Video, Veo, Bright Cove. Wow. There's a bunch of sites that are coming online now that are similar to YouTube, but they're real estate oriented. One is called Welcome Matt.
Okay.
Another one is called Zipvo. There's a bunch of them. They're all over the place. So, you know, what my criteria for uploading is, since I don't have all day, is if those video sites index the listing, if they get indexed in Google, I'm there, because there's a benefit to my sellers, and it's a huge benefit. When I upload to the sites that I upload to, within 48 hours, but I just had one last week, literally 4 hours after I uploaded it, it was on the first page of a Google search for the #1 search term for that particular area.
Wow. So
which is huge.
What are your secrets of getting there? What are your secrets for this?
What are my secrets? It's a matter of getting, well, first of all, you have to pick the right services that get indexed. Not all video services get indexed in the search engines. The big ones that get indexed are the ones owned by Google, which is Google Video and Yahoo Video. Meta Cafe gets indexed by Google. Dailymotion gets indexed by Google. There's several others, but you know, you got to pick the ones that are indexed. So not all of them are, and then to me, it's a waste. I don't have time to be doing that for my health. So,
right.
And then you have to make sure that you tag them with the proper keywords. So whatever your marketplace is, you need to know what the proper keywords are for real estate. And generally speaking, it's city, state, real estate. So if you're in Boston, it would be Boston, Massachusetts real estate would be the #1 search term. Boston, Massachusetts condos or condo. So you need to find the most popular search terms, and then I mix them up. So I don't use the same one. So if someone types in Boston, Massachusetts condo, you know, certain ones will come up, and I do condos and real estate and the like. And then so you have to tag them with the right tags and keywords, and then the subject line has to be also tagged with the right information, which would be Boston, Massachusetts, and then I put the abbreviation for the state, which is MA. Okay. So Boston, Massachusetts, MA, real estate or homes or whatever. So, you know, you just have to know what the keywords are for whatever it is that you're uploading. And they show up. And the nice thing is Google started in May of this year what they call universal search, and MSN and Yahoo kind of chimed in this fall with they call it blended search, where they're mixing videos, blogs, and news in with the regular search results. So they're up there. I've seen them up there in 4 hours. Wow. AOL video gets indexed really quickly for some reason right now. Changes every minute. But 4 hours after I uploaded, it's on page 1. Wow. That's a huge, huge selling point. As a realtor, you can have a website for 5 years and never show up on page 1.
That's true.
Seriously.
Very true.
So it's that's another selling point for the realtors, and for them to use that as a selling point for their sellers. You know, hey, I'm going to do this video. You're going to be on page 1 of Google in a few days. You know.
Awesome.
So I do that, but the real prerequisite, it has to be indexable by the search engines. Google is 65% of the searches, so that's the one that I really look at more than anything else.
Now let's go back to distribution and marketing for a second. We can get more in detail into optimizing search. I mean, you got into it, but we can get more into it. As far as distribution and marketing goes, do you at all use any special software to upload these to these multiple sites, or do you go one by one?
There is some software. I found two sites that I started to use. One was called TubeMogul, and the other one was called, I forget the name of it. Send It Out, or You Send...
You Send It?
No.
I know which one you're talking about. Hear Me Now, or something like that?
Yeah, something like that, or Send It Out, or it's kind of a stupid name. Anyway, I used both of those because basically I could upload it once, put in my username and password for 7, 8, 10 different sites, and it would send them out to all those sites. And I was thrilled because that saves me a lot of time. What I was finding is it doesn't work. I mean, I thought it did. It really doesn't work very well. I get a lot of them don't go through. So I stopped using it because it wasn't effective. Now I'm back to doing it one by one. Fortunately, I have a fiber optic connection, so it's really fast. And it's just one of those things. I think it's important, and I think it's a big reason. I think why I'm successful. That's part of the selling thing that I propose to people.
Just to put it up there one by one.
Yeah. So I don't use those services. I'm sure over time they'll get better, but the other thing you have to be careful of, which I'm starting to find out, is a lot of these video sites do not allow, according to their terms of service, commercials, which this is essentially a commercial.
Oh.
Blip TV, which is one of my favorites. The quality is excellent, and I've been with them almost since they started. They banned me last week.
Okay.
So it's totally pulled out 200 videos of mine. So that's probably going to happen down the road. What are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do? So as far as these free hosting solutions that offer the best quality, what would you recommend? I mean, YouTube is getting up there with quality, but what else would you, as far as
YouTube
quality?
actually just announced today that they're upgrading their quality within the next 3 months.
Oh, cool.
To much higher quality. So that'll be a big step forward. And then the one I use that I think is the best quality right now is Bright Cove. It has really, really, really good quality. Welcome Mat, which is the real estate video site.
Yes.
Their quality is pretty good, I have to say. And what they offer too, which is kind of nice, is they have chapter encoding. So you can set it up and you can put living room and kitchen and whatever. So people want to jump to rooms instead of sitting through the whole video.
Yeah, that is very cool.
That's a really nice feature that they have.
And that is all for free right now. I mean, you think they're going to be paid now? I mean, they're in beta right now, but you think they'll be paid down the line?
What they're doing, and I don't totally understand this right now, but what their focus is going to be is not as a search site for buyers, which to me I think is idiotic. Nobody's going to go looking for videos. They're looking for real estate. Right. What they're going to be is actually a videographer directory. And they're going to kind of connect videographers with people that are looking to do these videos. And somehow when they make that match, they're going to take a cut of the price. So they're going to be kind of like a broker, I guess. Not totally sure how that's going to work, but that's how they're going to monetize that business. Because, these people have to make money somehow, So nothing's for free. So that's how they're going to do it. If you are a videographer and you want to get into it, that's a place to get on their directory. There's another site I just saw announced actually yesterday. They just sent out a press release. I think it's called Fizber, F-I-Z-B-E-R.
Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, I did hear about that.
Fizbo, for sale by owner site, and they're starting a videographer directory and trying to promote videos as well.
So people are recognizing the power of this kind of stuff. Now, as far as the free solutions go, as far as hosting, you say that Bright Cove is the best.
I like Bright Cove. I think their quality is as good as it gets for Flash and for free. They also, if you go into their console and you set up an account, it takes a little bit to figure out. I'm a web guy, so I guess it's not such a big deal for me. It takes a little bit of time to figure out how to set it up, but you can set it up. You can brand it with your company or with your client's company. You can overlay logos over the videos instead of theirs. You can have tabs, so they have a nice big presentation. You can You know, I have one that I set up. We have a tab for single families and a tab for condos, and it's all within one really nicely laid out console. It's all done in Flash, and that console is very search engine friendly. I mean, it's amazing how it works. It's really a good product. They got a good setup there.
Yeah, that's one thing about Brayco that's really good. Now, summarizing this up, Fred, basically you bought a camera, you started this. How did you get the idea to do this, first of all? Where did this come from?
A dream.
A dream.
I do real estate web design and marketing for realtors. I've done that for 10, 12 years. So,
okay, so
that's what I do, and this was just kind of a natural progression because like any other business, you know, when you look at realtors and their websites, it's very hard for these guys to stand apart from their competition. So, you know, I'm always looking for new ways to kind of help them do something a little bit different. I did the first real estate podcast, 2-3 years ago. You know, so we started doing podcasting these things and you know, just anything that will set themselves apart so when they walk in on a listing appointment, they're coming in with a little bit of, you know, some fresh ideas. And, you know, I wanted to do video, and I couldn't find anybody that was doing it so I could copy them, which was what I wanted to do. And then I come to realize you really couldn't do video online very well because nobody could watch it. Because Flash video wasn't very mature, QuickTime nobody had, broadband was for a few select people. You know, it just wasn't there. And so I bought one of these 360-degree lenses, and I decided to do that. And
I noticed that. I noticed that in your videos. That's another thing that sets you apart. Now let's talk about you selling your business. You just started this up. You have an offering. You opened up a website, naturalvideotours.com. Now, what is the next step as far as selling your service? You go directly to these real estate agencies. I mean, you've been doing this for a number of years, so obviously you have an extensive network. But somebody who's just starting this up, what would you recommend them doing for the first time? Where do you recommend them going?
It's all about seeing it. You really have to show them. You cannot explain it. They won't get it. Get yourself an iPod, get yourself an iPhone, throw some videos on there. You know, and the same is true for the realtors when they go on a listing appointment. It's like, you know, whip up that iPhone and show them a video. It's so easy, you know, to get the sale when they see it. They have to see it and hear it. What I did, obviously, I do have some connections with realtors, so that helped. I did a lot of them for free. You know, it's all about visibility, and one of the biggest places that you can be visible is on the local MLS, which is the multiple listing service, and also on Realtor.com. And not being visible so much to sellers, although that's part of it, but you're visible to realtors. When a new listing comes on the market, the first thing that realtors do is they go into the MLS to see if this listing is appropriate for their buyer or whatever, and they see the tour there. Mm-hmm. So getting them out there so they can see that, and of course my name's at the bottom and at the end of every one of those videos. I'm not stupid, so you got to make sure you've got a contact and a link to your website or whatever. And, you know, that's where they're going to see these videos, is on the MLS during the course of their day as they're doing research for their clients. Another thing I did is realtors have what they call broker open houses. And basically those are open houses for other brokers to get them in to a house to see a new listing, and, you know, hopefully it'll be in the back of their mind if they have a client that's interested. And one of the ways that they have always gotten these people out to the house is to provide a lunch. So they provide a free lunch, and realtors always need a free lunch, right?
Of course.
And then a lot of times what they'll do is have a raffle of some sort. So what I've been doing with my customers that are already doing the video tours is I offer them a free video tour to raffle off at a broker open house. In exchange for that, they market it, so when they send out the invitation, a video, it's usually by email, so I have a video that's on there. I do the invitation, of course. So the video is in the email so they can see it, showing that this is going to be raffled off. And it's also a video of the property that they're coming to look at, so another way to see the video. Another way to get my exposure out there. And then I come to the broker open house and I bring my computer and I have a loop of videos. So I play them all during the open house and I can actually show people and talk to them and that type of thing. However, and this is why this is so difficult, I've given away 12 of these now, 12 over the last 2 years, for free,
right.
For free. One person has taken me up on it. And all these realtors have more listings now than they've ever had, and in all this time, I've only had one cash it in. So from my perspective, it's a great marketing tool because I get a lot of exposure, and it doesn't cost me anything, even the free tour. However, it does illustrate how there's this mental block for realtors when it comes to this kind of thing. It's not as easy as you think. And that's proof. I mean, they got a free tour and they're not even taking me up on it. It's just amazing to me. I don't get it.
Well, they don't see the advantage of it yet. So, just keep chugging away at it, and I'm sure, where do you think this is going to be in the next 2-3 years?
It's getting bigger. I mean, my business is getting busier and busier all the time. I just did one yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
The first two for this broker, and he told everybody in his office, and when we were leaving, he says, everybody is waiting with bated breath to see this. They really are curious. So, business is tough right now. These guys are not making a lot of money, and they're not really sure if they're going to be doing this next year because the market is very slow in a lot of areas. And so they're all now kind of thinking, well, maybe I need to start doing something different. And I think this is something that they're going to be looking at.
Now, what is the ceiling, with your experience, what is the ceiling price for a realtor paying for a video like this? I know that you offer, $300?
I have 3 different price points, and the $300 one is narrated, and the $200 one is not. Otherwise, it's basically the same thing. I also was told by a couple realtors that I was too expensive, and they told me that I needed to figure out a way to get the price down. What they're trying to do is get the price down to what a 360-degree tour is, and those are like $69, $99. And I kept saying I can't do it. The labor's just too much. I can't do it. So what I came up with was a walkthrough. Basically, I walk through with my little Steadicam, one time, one shot, take it or leave it, put it to music, and I upload it to Flash. That's it. Don't upload it to all the other sites. I don't compress it to different things. So it's real quick. It takes me 20 minutes. And since I've started offering that, I think I've sold one. Matter of fact, somebody inquired about it like 2 weeks ago, and I had to go look it up on my website because I didn't remember what I was offering. So, and that was when my business kicked in. When I started to offer the cheap one is when everybody started buying the expensive one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. But I'd say 98% of the ones that I do are $300 and include the narration. If it's a little condo or a little, tiny little house or something like that, there's not much to say, and they opt for the $200 version. But I've only done probably 4 or 5 of those.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your client base like? You have many clients, brokers, real estate agents?
It's mostly real estate agents. I'm getting now some builders that are calling me that are wanting me to do some of their things, some actual sellers that are already listed with a realtor, and they're paying for it because they don't feel their realtor's doing the job that they expect them to do, so they're actually paying me to do it for them. The other thing that I'm doing, too, and this is kind of in conjunction, is I do community tours. So it's just a 3 or 4 minute tour of the community, of the town. And that footage I can use, I do it for the broker for their website, but I use some of that footage just at the tail end of some of the videos. So you can kind of give a feel for what the town is like in the town center, downtown, and shopping, whatever.
Wow.
Because the fact is, if you're moving from Phoenix to Beacon Hill in Boston, Beacon Hill looks very different than Phoenix. And LA looks very different than Manhattan. And, if you're not from an area, it all looks very different. So giving a little bit of a feel for the community, I drive through the neighborhood a little bit, drive up to the house, so it's not just about the house, it's about the neighborhood and the street.
Wow.
And I just, kind of cool, I wasn't really wanting to bite the bullet, but I just bought the Google Earth Pro version.
Oh, okay.
$400.
Nice. Worth it.
However, you can make movies.
Yes.
And it's very high resolution. So you can pinpoint the house, you can pinpoint the highway or the different neighborhoods or whatever it is that you want to highlight, and zoom in and fly around, and it makes a beautiful movie that you can incorporate into the video, which is, again, one other thing that's going to set me apart, from other people doing something. You've got to do something a little different even with the video.
Oh, yeah, definitely. To keep yourself competitive and to add value to your videos. I'm thinking along the way here while you're going within the community is to get these businesses to be part of your video and possibly offer you some money to be in that video.
Well, offering money is one thing I haven't done, but one of the things I do with the community tours is we do go into businesses, and it's a great selling point. Again, I'm always pushing for the realtor, but it's like I did one in a town south of Boston a few weeks ago, and there's a local produce market that's been there for 100 years. So we went in, the realtor introduced herself, to the business owner, said, we want to take pictures of your market here and your produce and all that. She was thrilled. It's free publicity. She got to introduce herself to the owner of the company. The owner went on camera and told a little bit about the family history of the business, and it's been around for 100 years and what they do, just briefly. And then once the video is on their website, then the realtor can go back to the owner and say, hey, your video's up. So another opportunity to introduce yourself to the owner of the company. And then the owner is going to go tell all their friends to go look at my video on this XYZ realtor website. So it's great promotion for the realtor. It's great promotion for the neighborhood. And, everybody kind of gets to meet other people. And it does add a little bit of personalization, I think, to just a community tour by highlighting some of the local businesses.
Oh yeah, that's important, because if I want to buy a house, I want to look at the community.
Exactly.
If I'm a single family, I want to know if there's good schools, good children in the area that my family can play, my son or daughter can play with.
Yeah,
so that's important.
We shoot the schools, and we shoot the businesses and the outdoor cafes, and just a little feel for the neighborhood, the hiking trails or the boating or whatever it may be.
Now, you can go many angles with this type of real estate video, and it's incredible what you're doing. You're adding value, and, in the upcoming years, you're still at the top. You're competitive, which is good stuff. You don't charge a lot of money, in my opinion, for the work that you do, but real estate agents think so, and hopefully that will change in the upcoming years. Now, what we're going to do special for this video is provide a special email within that you're going to see at the bottom of your screen here, that you can contact us here at the video, and we'll at the DV show, which is actually who's producing this video. You can contact us here with any questions, and we'll get back in touch with Fred, put him on a future show. And any questions that you have relating to this video, how there's still more to talk about, like what to look for, what size do you make your video, all the technicalities of it, and including with this video, you should have got this little pamphlet or book that covered most of these questions. But if you still have questions about what we're talking about on getting started, we'll put a special email on the bottom of the screen here that you can contact us, and just send us an email, and we'll contact you back with any concerns that you have. So, Fred Light, your website again is NashuaVideoTours.com. Excellent website with good stuff there, and I especially like the videos where you can jump to the living room, you can jump to the dining room. That is some cool stuff, and it's quick, fast. I love it. And again, if you have any questions, we'll put this special email up, contact us, and we'll pass it along to Fred, and we'll answer on a future show, or maybe do another video. How's that sound? It sounds great. Okay. All right, Fred, thanks for being with us on this special edition of the DV Show.
You're welcome.